So the solution to low back pain is, first of all, stop irritating a tissue. So we've talked about a disc bulge, we've talked about foramen stenosis, and we've talked about facet joint arthrosis, which, to the facet joint arthrosis and the disc bulge, there are definite movement causes to it, or influences to those injuries. So if you move your spine in a certain way, you can create a disc bulge, and you can create a facet joint arthrosis. They are multifactorial, so there are more elements than one. So when you hear someone say that a deadlift didn't cause your disc bulge or your disc herniation, there may be some truth in that, but it will play its part. And that's something that we need to come to terms with. And that's something that the industry needs to come to terms with, is that movement, be it everyday movement or movement in a gym, if done incorrectly, will wear down a joint, which will eventually create an injury. So the solution. So we've talked about a disc, we've talked about a foramen, which is the hole where the nerve comes out, and we've talked about the facet joint. So if the facet joint is inflamed, we need to stop irritating that tissue. If the disc is bulging and irritating the nerve, we need to stop irritating that tissue. If the stenosis is irritating the nerve, we need to stop irritating that tissue with our movement. So all three of them, there is a movement solution, not a muscle strength solution. Because muscle strength won't help you when it comes to a disc bulge. Because it's the movement that minimizes, or that can either maximize, depending on the movement that you do, can either maximize a disc bulge or it can minimize a disc bulge. Now, again, a part of that will be how close are you to that injury. So if it happened yesterday, it's probably not going to be a good idea, if it was a disc bulge, that you then go about bending your spine. I mean, in all honesty, you probably won't be able to anyway. The body won't let you bend your spine. You'll be stuck in a rigid position anyway. Now, the further and further away you get, the more applicable it is to start moving the spine and bringing back proper movement. But again, it needs to be done in a certain way. So step one was stop irritating the tissue with improper movement and misuse of the spine. Now, as we talked about with the disc bulge, as a general rule, it's flexion extension cycles sped up if we add load on top. Now again, as I mentioned, the closer you are to the injury, the more pertinent it's going to be to not flex and bend the spine. The further away you get, you've got more license to. But when I then talk about number two, you've got to get the muscles working properly. So there is a process to this. It's not just about jumping into the deep end and going, my spine is meant to move, my spine was built to move, therefore I am going to move it. There is a process to it. 100% full range of movement will come further down the line, and we'll get to that. So the people that are movement activists or promoters will get there. It's just, as the injury has happened, we've got to get the muscles working properly. So number one, we've got to override these tight and tense muscles. So we've got to override the neuromuscular system, as we've talked about. So we need to start consciously bracing the spine. We need to start holding the spine in a proper position. We need to start using the hips correctly. So when we go down to lift, hinging from the hips. Now I understand that everyday life, we're never going to be able to pick up all of our objects, boxes, pens, clothes, laundry baskets, going down into cupboards with a neutral spine. I get it. I'm not telling people to be robots. But what we have to do is we have to teach people to hip hinge. We have to teach people to brace. And when I mean bracing, it's bracing appropriately. If it's a heavy task, we need to brace heavy. If it's a light task, we need to brace lightly. This will help our body realize that we're using our body properly. Because if we go down to pick something up heavy and we don't brace our torso, your body will brace itself. And it will generally use the muscles around the spine to do it. That is when we get our painful catches of the muscle when it goes. Because it may perceive that there is a problem that's going to occur or that a problem is occurring. And therefore the body will spasm and it will create that problem. So we need to get the muscles working properly. If there is tension there, we need to try and release that tension with massage, with foam rolling. Now again, the depth and intensity of the massage will depend on, again, the intensity of the pain and where they are with regards to when the injury happened, and is it the day after, a week after, a month after. All of that has to be understood. So it's not a blanket, get a massage, get down in there, be intense, loads of pain, but the tension will be released. That's not the case. It depends on the individual. Once we've got all of that happening, so once we've managed the movement, so we're not irritating the tissue anymore. We've got muscles working more effectively because we're learning some basic skills of how to protect our spine, i.e. bracing, neutral spine, hip hinge, as an example. What we then need to do is build capacity. And building capacity isn't just about building strength. And strength doesn't equal pain-free, as I've described. The steps before will reduce pain. What we are now doing is we are now building protection around it. We aren't in a sort of a reduction of pain, initial pain phase. We are now in a minimization of risk phase. So we need to build the capacity of the core muscles and of the torso to cope with the rigors of everyday life. Be that also if you go to the gym. So we have to start building the tissues. Now, again, as I've mentioned, we don't just want to build strength. We want to build endurance and we want to build stability. Strength is the initial contraction strength. Then we need to get that going at the right time. That's your stability. So we need to get the muscles to fire at the right time or to enhance their contraction at the right time and dampen their contraction at the right time. That's your stability. The strength is the heightening of the activity and the stronger the initial contraction. So we've got stability, we've got strength. Then we need to do that over a prolonged period of time, which is the endurance. So we need all of those to be working. We also need all of those to be working all around the torso. So the low back, the sides, and the abdominal wall at the front. Because what knits that whole area together is the abdominal fascia or the thoracolumbar fascia or the torso fascia, if you want to call it that. In textbooks, you'll see thoracolumbar fascia or lumbodorsal fascia and abdominal fascia. It's basically the same thing. When your muscles are balanced and they are contracting evenly around the torso, you have an even distribution of stress around the torso, which is minimizing it on the spine. And this is what we need to create. Then we just need to put the endurance on the top of it. And it's that's going to protect our core, because it's the endurance that allows us to maintain our strength and maintain our stability. So we want to be building endurance into the torso. But we also don't want to forget what we were doing before, which is using the spine properly. Now again, as I mentioned, the further away you get from the episode of pain, the more license you have to move and bend your spine. So it's about using your spine correctly for the stage of rehabilitation or fitness that you are at. It's not a simple case of do a bunch of strength exercises and you'll be fine. Because the common response I find to that is I got really strong, but my pain didn't change. So it's being able to get the pain to change, then put the strength in. Because all you're doing, if you strengthen your lower back, is you are putting strength on a weak foundation. And eventually, that strength doesn't really mean anything. So that is why I say low back weakness doesn't cause low back pain. What's causing low back pain is the improper use of the spine and the improper rehabilitation of the spine. And what's much more effective is to be able to stop irritating the tissues, get the muscles working properly to override that neuromuscular system, and then start building capacity, which is the stability, the strength, and then eventually the endurance. So hopefully that gives you a better idea of why low back weakness is just a symptom of lower back pain. Again, if you have comments, leave them below. If you like what you've heard, hit the like button. If you've learned something new, hit the thanks button. And if you want to watch more tutorials like this, please do hit the subscribe button and the bell icon.